A new trolling motor product just dropped from Lowrance. Let's check it out in this video. The Recon trolling motor from Lowrance and Simrad is their answer for the electric steer market for walleye and inshore saltwater fishing. These are available in the black freshwater model from Lowrance, and then also from Lowrance a white saltwater model, and from Simrad their first entry into the trolling motor market is a white model as well. The saltwater models are available in 54, 60, and 72 inch, and those same model sizes will be available in the black freshwater one from Lowrance, but it is also available in a 48 inch. The freshwater model from Lowrance will come with a foot pedal, and it will be an option on the two saltwater versions. So the application for this new trolling motor, it's not here to replace the Ghost, it's here to complement it. The Ghost is really designed for bass boats, whereas the Recon is going to be designed for the premium deep V and mid-tier deep V boats, walleye type boats, then also bay and coastal boats. So obviously with companies like Lowrance and Simrad who are known for their MFDs, there's going to be some connectivity between them through NMEA 2000. The new Recon will work on the HDS Live, Pro, and Carbon models, as well as the Elite FS, which will require a software upgrade for all those models coming out later in the year. For Simrad, the same type of connectivity. NSS Evo 3S, NSO Evo 3S, and also the non-S versions of those, the NSX and NSX Ultra Wide, will be compatible through software upgrades later this year. Lowrance and Simrad are really talking about the control you have with these motors. So Recon trolling motors are all about control. So many different ways to control it, which we'll look at throughout this video. These Recon motors are 24 or 36 volt selectable brushless motors. They also have this new FreeSteer Joystick Remote control, which is a 360-degree thumb control, which looks really cool. We're going to really get into that later in the video. And the GPS anchor gives you a 3-foot accuracy now. So these things have been improved significantly over anything else that's on the market from that control standpoint. The FreeSteer joystick operation is really cool. You can tap left or right for 1.5-degree increments, or you can hold left or right for larger steering adjustments. If you pull the FreeSteer joystick straight down, it'll align the motor with the keel, so it'll always be pointing straight ahead. Then you can go into the steering range and hold in that position, and the boat will then head that direction. When you're using the FreeSteer in the anchor mode, you have the ability to move in any direction without re-anchoring the boat. You can hold it in any direction you want. It will move you there. When you release, it will then anchor you again in that position. And now you have the option to jog diagonally for a total of 8 directions. In the past, we only would have 4 with the 4 arrow keys. With this FreeSteer anchored jog, what we're able to do is just tap left, right, up, down, or in between any of those, and then the motor will move us in 5-foot increments those ways. So the Recon is a brushless motor, so it's going to be super quiet, allowing you to get to fish without spooking them. The upgradable nose cone will give you the clearest side scan sonar you're able to get with the Lowrance models. And one thing to note, that the 3-in-1 nose cone, the Ghost nose cone is different than the Recon one, and this is only an option on the freshwater motors. The white Lowrance and then the Simrad motor, you cannot add the 3-in-1. Now, as far as mounting active target transducers on the motor, this is what I am super excited about this motor. There are mounting attachment points on the motor where you're able to attach active target transducers. So in this case, we have it in scout mode and forward mode with 2 transducers on there. And then you can see B is a cable management system with provisions for 2 cables to go up the shaft, because again, these motors are like a traditional electric steer where the shaft slides through the mount, not allowing you to zip tie any cables to the shaft of the motor or mount transducers on the shaft of the motor. So these mounting points that Lowrance have included are awesome. Here's a closer look at those attachment points. So they're going to use an M5 by 12 millimeter screw. You're going to need 2 screws per attachment that you're putting on there, which will allow you to get 3 different devices on the motor. So really cool design that Lowrance and Simrad have come up here for the Recon lower units. And I really can't wait to see what the aftermarket transducer mount manufacturers are going to come up with for this. So as far as pricing goes on these Recon motors, the Lowrance 48-inch version is going to start out at $3,300, and then you can get right up into the saltwater version at 72 inches for $3,800. So here are a bunch of accessories that are now available for the Recon, and also on the right-hand side of this, there's a comparison of what will work with what. So the Ghost will not have any of these new quick release brackets working with it, obviously because of the mounting surface. The FreeSteer remote will only work on the Recon models, and the old Lowrance TMR1 remote will not work on the Recon models. That's something to keep in mind. The 2-blade weedless prop, the active imaging 3-in-1 nose cone, and the advanced wireless foot pedal, which we're going to talk about soon, also will not work on the Ghost, only going to be on the new Recon models. So a few features you're going to see on the Recon that you're not going to see on the Ghost, and it's all because of the new remote, is the direction indicator of the lower unit, an error code diagnostic display, and then obviously the FreeSteer Joystick Remote are all exclusive to the Recon. Like I mentioned, the TMR1 remote will not work with the Recon, or the advanced foot pedal will not work with the Ghost. There's an internal GPS heading sensor. There's serviceable kits for you to get from Lowrance if you ever have an issue with your Recon, and then the accessory mounting points, meaning the transducer mounting points for the live sonar. So here's an overview on the Recon, and I'll just touch on a few of the things we haven't talked about already. There's status LED lights on it. The cabling that they're using is 8-gauge wire, which is really nice in there, up to 50 RPM steering speed. There's a carbon-infused indestructible shaft and cam lock depth collar, which it will allow you to adjust the height of the motor very easily. Here's a couple of the things from the last slide. If you want to take a little bit closer look, you can pause the video here. One thing I want to point out is the Stow Assist finger grooves on the bottom of the motor head, allowing you a little place to set your fingers when you're stowing and deploying the motor, just so you get a firm grip on it. All right, here is our first close-up look at the FreeSteer Joystick Remote, which does float, does have a 2-inch transflective display on it, so the more sunlight you have, the easier it's going to be to see. You're not going to have the backlight as high, so that'll save battery life. The toolless battery door on the back of it, where the 2 AA's are housed, is awesome. No screwdrivers needed to get that apart, which I really like. Lowrance is always putting these programmable keys wherever they can, and they've put a couple on the back of this remote. So here's a look at a couple of those functions that you can do. You could probably eliminate your power pole remote if you have those on your boat, because you can do power pole up and down with this. Or if you're using the live sonar, you can increase the forward range or the down range on the active target with these buttons. So really cool that they've added those on there. And again, they'll have a short press and long press function. So with this FreeSteer Joystick Remote, there are not a lot of buttons on it. Most of it is done through that joystick, other than your essential buttons like your prop on off, your autopilot heading, menu, and anchor lock, and then of course your speed up and down. And you'll be able to see everything that's going on right on that 2-inch color screen. Here are the measurements on the FreeSteer Joystick Remote, just so you can get an idea of it. And that side profile view just shows you how it's designed. It should just fit in your hand perfectly. Looks like a really great design from Lowrance and Simrad here. And on the bottom right here, you'll see the Simrad version. Basically, it's exactly the same, just Simrad logo on it rather than the Lowrance logo. Here's a look at the screen. We've got a status bar in the top. In the center, everything's going to be in relation to our steering and our prop control. And then on the bottom, we have some speed indicators, both our speed of the boat and then the prop speed. Here are a few of the different modes that you're going to see on the screen. I'll let you pause the video and take a closer look at this slide if you'd like. As far as the menu operation on the FreeSteer Joystick Remote goes, it's very similar to a lot of the traditional Lowrances. It really reminds me of their LCX and LMS series menu system. Basically just that tree type menu system, which will allow you to navigate through it very easily. Here's a look at the advanced wireless foot pedal, which is available on the Recons. Comes with the Lowrance one, like I mentioned, available on the 2 saltwater models, though, as an option. It is a Bluetooth connected pedal, runs on 3 AA batteries, which are located under the switch, and then you can also flip that switch around just like you could on the original Ghost pedal. It does have the removable programmable lower key module, which is included with it. However, that may have to be removed for most of the recessed foot trays, as it will likely not fit in there. So in addition to the FreeSteer Joystick Remote and the new advanced wireless pedal, there's also a new compact GPS remote, which is a much smaller footprint if you like that smaller size, but you won't have all those FreeSteer control options with this remote. It does have a toolless battery door, just like the other one, and it does have some LED light rings around the prop button, so you can kind of see what's going on. This will also be compatible with the Ghost in a future software upgrade. Being a Bluetooth device, the Recon can have up to 5 controls for it. So you could have the FreeSteer Joystick Remote, you could have the advanced wireless foot pedal, the new compact remote, and then you could have 2 other devices after that. So it could be a mobile app and could be something else, and who knows, maybe there'll be a future remote that Lowrance and Simrad come out with that will be paired up with this. Anything included in the box though will be prepared, so you don't have to worry about doing any of that yourself. We touched on the MFD integration a little bit at the beginning of the video, but obviously with manufacturer like Lowrance and Simrad, that is going to be very robust with this new trolling motor. So we use the 9-pin mini to the 9-pin sonar connector cable, and then for GPS you're going to use the NMEA 2000, which you can see a diagram of that network here, to connect that up. And if you have multiple units on your boat, you can connect them through Ethernet to share the sonar data from the trolling motor. Here's a look at the control bar at the top of the screen and the control panel on the left of the screen. Very similar to what we're already seeing on these units, so that hasn't really changed all that much with the Recon. There are two new heavy-duty quick release brackets. This is the aluminum one. This one has a feature where you can slide it back 6 inches from the bow of the boat to allow you to cover it or launch the boat easier. Then there's also the composite one, which will be a straight lift up. This one is available in black and white. This one will work with the freshwater or saltwater models, whereas the previous one we looked at is only for the freshwater models, and this one also you can lock into place as well. So the standard nose cone that's going to come with your motor is going to be the HDI nose cone. The active imaging 3-in-1 nose cone is an optional one, and again, these are only available for the freshwater models and they are not compatible with the Ghost models. If you do upgrade to the 3-in-1 nose cone, the Ghost 360 feature will work, and you can actually program one of the customizable buttons on the remote to activate the Ghost 360 feature. Okay, so finishing off this video on the Recon, here is what you're going to get. Basically everything is exactly the same. However, on the saltwater models, you're going to get that prop anode, and there's no transducers included with the saltwater models. So the HDI transducer, the 9-pin adapter, the advanced wireless pedal, and the power cable for the pedal are not included with the saltwater models. Of course, when you're using the saltwater model, if you do get the advanced wireless pedal, that would be a Bluetooth connection. And these final slides here are going to be just some of the technical specs. So as the video is ending, I'm going to just flip through these ones so you can take a look at the various technical specifications, and again, pause the video on it. So hopefully, guys, this gives you an overview on the new Recon motors from Lowrance and Simrad. They look great, really cool, going right up against the Minn Kota Terrova Power Pole Move PV motors. So we'll see how they come out. Let me know what you guys think about in the comments below.